Hi, my name is Terry Lee from Sweet Pea Papers, and this is video 4 in our project called Industrial Grunge. We're using the kit Industrial Grunge by Pink Monarch. Now, we're going to kind of go for it today and see if we can do something that I think will work, but I'm not sure if it will work, and hopefully we don't ruin the whole thing. We should be able to tell though before we do any gluing. So far we've got the cover, which I think we probably need something on the cover, and this flap in here. We're going to add one of the word tucks or word cards like this, only we're going to make it a tuck. Okay, and we're going to put that there. I don't have any cut out right now, so I can't put it there, but there is a big bright reminder to put one there. We've got this, and we're going to do this right now actually, and we've got a pocket here, and this flips up, and then we should put something there, shouldn't we? Like a little pocket or another little word tuck or something. Anyway, we'll go back and look at that. I don't have another sticky note. And then here's a writing area, and then here's a pocket. Here's a belly band with two little manila folder looking ephemera in there, and we're going to put some ephemera inside the ephemera, and we're going to put some ephemera in here as well. As I've mentioned in other videos, which because I'm making these all in 2 days, my brother scan and cut is still down. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add this angled pocket with this little tuck spot, which I just now realized I forgot to ink before I turned on the video. So we're going to have a little quick session here. Hum amongst yourselves. This will only take a second. I'm dragging my jammy sleeve through the ink pad. So the part that I'm not real sure about is that little flap area, like the little flap area on the front that we had trouble with. I think I'm going to make like a matchbook feature out of it. I'm not going to try to make a pocket or anything out of it. I could make a tuck spot out of it, I guess, because then I could just glue it down. So we'll have to see how that goes. Just kind of grunge this up a little bit. Now, the reason we've got the tuck spot across the bottom, I don't mind having it, and I like layered, kind of weird looking pockets and such, is because I cut this to, I don't know why I'm inking the bottom of it. Okay. Is because when I went to cut it, I realized the piece of paper wasn't quite big enough to get that full point. So I could have left it like that. Like I said, I kind of like weird pockets. But I decided instead to add this as a secondary feature, and then that would be a tuck all the way across here. Okay? So all we have to do for this, if I'm going a little fast on this, is because I think it's going to take us a little bit of time on the other. So we're going to glue the two long straight sides, or relatively straight sides, because I cut this by hand. And let that air bubble go. There we go. We don't want to glue too far in because it's going to be a pocket, but we also don't want to not put enough glue to hold it in with stuff inside of it. What is the deal right there? Okay. Okay, make sure I did the two correct sides, not the two right. Well, it is the two right sides, isn't it? Okay. And I want to go over far enough to hide some of that white, if I can. I meant to go all the way up. I'm going to ink that white up. I'm going to go ahead and tip this. It doesn't matter if it's off a little bit at the bottom because we're going to cover it with this, which I think this has a nice feature on it as well. Okay, now we're just going to glue 3 sides of this. Yes, I have flannel jammies on and my hand warmers. I'll move my hand warmers out of the way here in just a minute. I'm freezing. It's like 38 degrees and raining out. $40 degrees and raining. That's the day's high. So, okay. So now we're going to put this across the bottom and hide our problem over here. So now we've got this pattern, this pattern, this pattern. We've got a large pocket here. This is my scrap piece. You know, I actually could have put this way and then put the tuck on. That would have been kind of cool, huh? Off you go, tuck. I was just going to show you where the pocket was. Let's make a double pocket with a tuck. Come on. Where's your sense of adventure? Sorry about that. I had a little issue with the mic. Okay, so we're going to put this in here. So let's just glue. We're just going to glue this outside edge. If we glue the bottom, then we'll lose the depth of the pocket. So we're just going to glue this outside edge over here. Okay, well that's pretty cool. Let's see if this glue is still wet enough to stick this back on. Yes, it appears to be grabbing. Well, that looks way cooler. It almost looks like one of those hats that the guys wear, paper hats at a restaurant. This is now officially the paper hat pocket. Okay, so now we're done with that. I don't have the piece for this here because we didn't make this a pocket, or we couldn't make it a pocket. Then I thought that we should add something over here. I wanted to keep this, and we're going to keep that the same on the other side. Okay, so we've got that. Now we're going to start working on this side. So we're going to open the back, and we're going to deal with this mess right here. Okay, so we're not going to cover this. We're going to leave it the natural manila folder. Why does that stick out right there? Uh-oh. Bum ba da ba. go. Dun, da, da, da. I don't know why it stuck out just that little teeny bit. Okay, so what we're going to do is make a matchbook. And I want to do it with a piece of manila folder, and I'll tell you why I want to do it that way. Because I want to make sure that there's enough thickness, because we're going to put a brad and a metal closure on here. So I don't think a brad and a metal closure through the one piece of paper is going to be enough to hold this down. And since this pops up anyway, I don't think this little bit of extra thickness is going to cause us any trouble, because we're not going to use the double thickness. We're going to cut part of the back of it off, and then we'll cover it with the paper. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is, we've got this manila folder. It's just a regular manila folder. We're going to take the 3 gusset lines, and we're going to put them down. We're going to put them on the down side. Then we're going to measure the width that we need, which is already measured on the, no, actually it isn't. I don't know what that pencil mark was from. What we wanted is wide as the book, so let's make it here. Then let's slide it up just a little bit. Oh, I'm trying to grab it in the, move it up just a little bit. And then we want to cut it to where it goes behind the part that sticks out. So we're going to make it this long to start out with. We can always make it a little shorter if we need to. So that's going to cut the tabs off. Okay. Now these are the papers I've set aside for the flaps, front, flap, back. So let's set these over here. Don't forget, we're going to have to ink. Ink, ink, ink. So let's cut the width. Oops. And we're going to be cutting through the thickness of both the front and the back. Oh, good grief. The sleeve on my pajamas kept getting in the way. Now, at this point, you want to make sure that you're cutting it off on the end that is open. We want the fold up here because we're going to use it for our flap. Okay? So when you make your mark, make sure that you're making it so that the flap is at the top, and the folds, the manila folder folds from the factory that are pre-made on here, are down. All right? That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So then we're going to cut it off here. Did that one without looking. Okay. So now, if I could do the thickness with the whole thing, I would rather. That looks like the length is going to be fine. No, we can't, because we're not going all the way down. Okay, and then once we put the brad on here, that's going to hold it down. Let's do it with just one. It's going to go down farther, but, or no, it's not actually, but put our closure right there. I think we'll be fine. Okay, so now we want to cut this off on the third line over. That will give us enough to fold over to make a flap. And then far enough down that we can cover it with the paper. I don't know why I can never see those when I get them up there. Okay, so now we have a small hinge for our flap that we're going to glue onto here. All right. Because I just don't think the thickness of a piece of paper is going to be thick enough to hold it down. Let me double check that against the right page. I think that's going to be good enough to hold it down. It might be a little bit too long. By maybe 1/4 of an inch. I don't want to go too close to where the thickness is going to push this even farther out. So I'm going to cut just a little bit off the bottom and make it just a smidge shorter, because I had this closed and didn't realize it, so I had 2 manila folder thicknesses that I was checking this against. So let's cut this much off and see how that looks. Yeah, that looks better. And then we're going to put the brad and the closure here. Okay. So the next step is to glue it down. So we're going to put the glue on this folded area only. Oh, my neighbor's doing laundry. Okay. Now let's make sure we're doing it from the right place here. We want to be below the fold. We want to be straight across, even with the book. Sorry if you can see the top of my head. Alright, let's let that dry for just a second before we go moving it around. Let's check for any glue seepage. No, looks good. Let's press this down with our bone folder and kind of smear that glue around so that it gets a good contact. Yeah, see, now I've got a little bit of glue coming out. Looks like we could almost use a little teeny bit of glue under this corner. I've pulled back a little bit of the glued area so that I can put glue in the other area. Not sure any glue came out. It's going to be covered with paper as well, so that little teeny corner spot, I'm not going to fight with it anymore. I don't want it to make a lump in the paper. Okay, so we're going to have this here and that there, and then we're going to put a closure here. So let's get our closure. I think we're going to need this big one. Isn't that cool? These are called spinners. They're made by Tim Holtz. They're made to be spinners on like a game, but we all use them for books. Okay, so I want the hole to be right here. Okay. Whoops. We need to cover this first. Need to cover this one, not cover that one. So that doesn't matter. That is moot. That is its belly button, and we're going to put a shirt on over it. Okay, so we're going to cover this with this. And this is directional. So we're going to leave a little bit. We didn't ink it. You guys almost let me do it, didn't you? Almost. Can't believe you guys almost let me do this. Yeah, I know how you are. I know how you are. You're probably eating as well. So, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But I already had breakfast. I had cinnamon toast. Instead of cinnamon toast, I call it cinnamon toast. Because when my kids were little, I used to give them sugar in this one form. Hardly ever gave them sugar in any other way. They mostly got healthier foods. And, you know, if they don't know what candy is from the beginning, they don't ask for it. They ask for Cheerios in a bowl, dry, so they can snack on it. Anyway, so I call it cinnamon because it's a mixture of cinnamon with a little bit of sugar added. It's so good. And all you do is butter your toast, and then you just sprinkle it on there just like you would regular cinnamon toast. So that is what I had for breakfast, and it was good. Let me do this little bit, and I'll grab the edges real quick, and then we'll be ready to go. Then we'll be, what is that? Cooking with what? Oil? I can't believe I can't remember that saying. See, this did a little bit. Just going to make it a little darker, and then we can kind of do the corners a little bit. Tried to stamp the lid. I know this is the most exciting part of the video. Feel free to go refill your coffee. Well, not now, it's too late. Now it's just too darn late. Okay, now we're going to take the paper and we're going to cover this flap. So we're going to go here. Yes, we're going to have to ink the paper. There's a little bit of a white edge there too. I'm not really wild about that. I don't want it to look different when it's inked than the rest of the sides or the page or whatever. Okay. So for the third time, now we're going to cover the flap and leave our little gap, measure across, make a mark, leaving the little gap area. Then we'll go down. Remember, you're only doing the flap. And make a mark there. So we're going to do the across mark first. Then we're going to do the vertical line. Double check before we what? Everybody say it at once. Before we ink the paper. Now you can go refill your coffee. No, it's not going to take that long. Remember, I told you we're going to have to ink everything because it's custom cut to fit. So that means we can't ink it ahead of time. If I had cut the manila folder and cut this piece ahead of time and inked it for you, then you would not have seen how to cut the manila folder piece, how to measure it, you know, all that kind of stuff. I think I did this, but I'm going to do it a little bit more. Okay. And as you can see, the black gets everywhere. All right, so we want to put it on the correct way. And we have to remember to put a complementary paper on this because it's going to show down farther. Okay, that looks good. This is the top. And lift the lid off again. There's spider webs hanging off. See, that's from the ink pad. It gets everywhere. It's insidious. Just like that movie. That movie's creepy. That lady gets closer and closer. But no one can see her. There we go. It's really kind of funny. As much trouble as I have with my hands, I can just stick that pin right in there. Okay, bring that up some. Bring it over some. Okay, so now we've got that. Now we put the brad on. So let's try that again. We want our brad to be as close to this as possible to hold it down, because it'll be tighter. The farther back you go, the less tight it is, plus it looks better when you put it where you're supposed to. Okay, let's try to get the middle. Let's see how close I came to the middle. I don't know why I like to do that, but I do. 2 3/4. It was off by a 1/16. I can live with that. It's just a thing. Okay, now we're going to get out our crocodile. And it's good for doing this because it makes us, you can set it to make a smaller hole versus your great big hole punch. Just going to position it to where the punch comes down right over the hole or the mark. And we're just going to make a hole. Then we're going to take a brad, which is one of those little pieces that has the little prongs on it. We're going to take our arrow, our spinner. We're going to put the brad through the hole. And we're going to put the prongs through this hole. I'm much happier with this than I would have been just doing a piece of paper. And we're going to spread these prongs. Make sure they're tight. Not so tight that the spinner can't turn. I'm going to double check it. Perfect, especially because we're not putting any paper on that. Now if we were putting paper on it, we would have to put the paper on here first, because that would make a difference in the positioning of the arrow. Okay, so when it's like that, you can open that, and then you can open this. Now normally a true matchbook, you glue the edges here, and then this just pops out like a real matchbook, but that's just going to be impossible here. And I wanted to leave this natural like we did on this side. Well, you know what I mean, the other side over here. Okay, it's a good thing that goes that way, because I really didn't check whether we had the book right side up or upside down, because this is the back. And that's fine. Phew. Okay, so the next thing on my list is the spinner to the front of the flap. That's all we're going to do for this video. We're already at 40 minutes. I guess we could cover the back. That wouldn't take very long. Okay, this one's directional. Oh, I thought I made it to where we wouldn't see any of that. Everywhere else, I've made sure to fold so that you didn't see the, you know, like a little piece of the logo. Okay, so this is the top. This paper goes this way. So this is going to be the top. Oh, look. Now that one has that too. What was I thinking when I was trimming these? My printer's kind of funny. And this was printed on my old printer, and it's not the vellum paper either. So I don't like the paper as well. Okay, sorry about that noise. That's me moving my stool around. I have carpet, so the wheels don't just roll. I have to pick the stool up and move it. I learned that by trying to roll on the stool, and I moved and the stool didn't, and I fell off and I hit my head on the shelves behind me and gave myself a concussion. So someone told me I needed a helmet, and someone else told me I needed a seatbelt. And I think I probably need both. Okay, so we can see the creases right here. So we just want to be a little bit inside. And then our edge is right here. So we just want to be a little bit inside. How did we manage to make it a little bit crooked when it was straight on the other side? Okay. I never know how these things happen. I really don't. See the lines? The sides line up perfectly. One of the mysteries of life, apparently. You make sure that this is the side I made the marks on. Okay. All we have to do is ink the edge, and glue it down, and then we'll be right at 45. Or very close to it, within a couple minutes. Okay, now after I get done with this, I have a jar of mayonnaise that I can't get open. It's new from the store. I've tried everything. I banged it against the countertop. I ran it under hot water. I used my grippy tool that is for opening jars. and I have a bruise on the palm of my hand from it. I just can't get it open. The next door neighbor has a son that's approximately 16 years old. And the very first time I needed my cell phone open, you know how they are, right? Then I got him to do it for me. He even had the tool that you're supposed to use to do it. The one that didn't come with mine. And there was something else. He helps me take out my garbage as well. He's a really good kid. And yeah. So I'm gonna have to take my mayonnaise jar next door, I guess. Break down their door. Now it's going to be a little bit harder to glue this down. Because you've got that spinner on the other side. Okay. So we got that done. We got our pocket done. Our cool paper hat pocket. Okay? So that's going to be it for this video. And I will see you in the next video. And that will be just a second for you and a day for me. Bye-bye.